Every single night, without trying, without choosing, your brain takes you somewhere else entirely. You might be flying over a city you've never seen, running from something you can't name, talking to a person who passed away years ago, and then your alarm goes off, and within minutes, it's gone, like it never happened. We spend roughly 2 hours dreaming every single night. That's about 6 years of your life spent inside a world your brain quietly built while you slept. And yet, for something so universal, science still doesn't fully agree on why we do it. Today, we're going to explore what dreams actually are, what your brain is doing while you have them, and what the most compelling theories say about why dreaming might matter more than most of us realize. To understand dreams, you first need to understand sleep. Specifically, a stage called REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. It's a phase your brain cycles into several times a night, usually starting about 90 minutes after you fall asleep. During REM, something unusual happens. Your brain becomes almost as active as it is when you're fully awake. Your eyes move quickly beneath your eyelids. Your heart rate increases. Your breathing shifts. But here's the strange part. Your body is essentially paralyzed. The brainstem sends signals to your spinal cord that suppress voluntary muscle movement. Scientists believe this is a protective mechanism, so you don't physically act out what's happening in your dream. The regions of the brain most active during REM include the amygdala, which processes emotion, and the visual cortex, which is why dreams feel so vivid and image-driven. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logic, critical thinking, and self-awareness, becomes significantly less active. This is why dreams can feel completely real in the moment, no matter how bizarre they get. The part of your brain that would normally say, "Wait, this doesn't make sense," is essentially offline. Scientists have been trying to explain why we dream for centuries. Here are the most credible theories we have today. Theory 1. Memory consolidation. One of the most well-supported ideas is that dreaming helps your brain process and store memories from the day. During REM sleep, your brain appears to replay and reorganize experiences, moving important information from short-term to long-term memory while discarding what it doesn't need. Studies have shown that people who sleep after learning a new skill or studying new material perform significantly better when tested later compared to those who stayed awake. Some researchers believe dreaming is part of that process, a kind of overnight filing system for your experiences. Theory 2. Emotional processing. Another strong theory is that dreams help us process difficult emotions. The amygdala is highly active during a REM, and some neuroscientists believe the brain uses the dream state to re-experience emotional memories in a neurochemically safer environment. Because during REM, levels of norepinephrine, a stress-related chemical, are actually suppressed. In other words, your brain might be revisiting emotional events and trying to diffuse them, to make sense of experiences that felt overwhelming while you were awake. This could partly explain why people who go through trauma often experience intense or recurring dreams, and why many therapists consider dream content meaningful in emotional healing. Theory 3. Threat simulation. A fascinating evolutionary theory suggests that dreaming evolved as a kind of rehearsal system for threats. The idea is that the brain uses dreams to simulate dangerous or socially challenging scenarios, so that when similar situations arise in waking life, you've already run through them in some form. This might be why so many common dreams involve being chased, falling, or showing up unprepared to something important. Your brain may be running drills. Theory 4. Random activation. Not all researchers think dreams are meaningful at all. One older theory, called the activation synthesis hypothesis, proposes that dreams are simply the brain's attempt to make sense of random neural signals fired during sleep. The brain, always seeking patterns and narrative, stitches these random signals into a story. And what we call a dream is just that story, not a message, not a memory process, just noise with a plot applied to it. The truth is, it's likely some combination of all of these. Dreams probably serve multiple functions, and different dreams may have different origins. Most people forget up to 95% of their dreams within minutes of waking up. Why? It comes back to the prefrontal cortex. Because it's so underactive during REM, the kind of conscious encoding that creates lasting memories isn't fully happening while you dream. When you wake up, your brain hasn't stored the dream the way it stores a real experience, so it fades almost immediately. There's also the role of norepinephrine. This chemical, suppressed during REM, is important for memory formation. When you wake up and it returns to normal levels, it essentially wakes up your memory system. But by then, the dream is already dissolving. Writing dreams down immediately upon waking, before looking at your phone, before speaking to anyone, is one of the most effective ways to capture them, because that window is only a few minutes long. While there's no scientific dream dictionary, patterns in common dreams do offer some psychological insight. Falling is one of the most universal dream experiences. Many psychologists associate it with feelings of losing control or anxiety in waking life. Being chased often appears during periods of stress or avoidance. The brain may be processing something you're running from emotionally, not physically. Teeth falling out is reported across cultures and is frequently associated with feelings of insecurity or fear of how others perceive you. Flying tends to appear during periods of confidence, freedom, or emotional release. None of these are universal rules, but the emotional tone of your dreams, how they made you feel, not just what happened, tends to be more revealing than the specific imagery. Dreams are one of the most intimate things the human brain does, and one of the least understood. Whether they're filing away your memories, processing your emotions, preparing you for danger, or simply making stories out of static, they represent something remarkable, a version of you that exists only in the dark, doing invisible work while you rest. The next time you wake up with the fading edge of a dream, it might be worth pausing for a moment before the day takes over. Because whatever your brain was doing, it was working on something. If you found this interesting, subscribe to Curio Brain for more deep dives into the psychology and science behind everyday human experiences.